And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Got rid of that slowdown. So now maybe I can play this a little bit more
Unable to comply. Building in progress. Construction complete. Repairing. Building. Unit repaired.
Ah, maybe they do have some use.
Repairing. Construction complete. Building. Unit repaired.
Vehicle reporting.
Building.
My biggest gripe about this mission is that I'm having to mass, like, SAM sites,
Construction complete.
or power plants, and all that other crap.
Unit ready. Building.
I mean, is there a way to, like, read what your power is? I imagine it's in the... Oh, wait, did it say
Construction complete.
something? Power output, no.
Base is under attack.
I mean, seriously, come on.
Reporting. Acknowledge.
How many of these fucking things do I have to make?
Building. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
What the hell else is... Oh, it's just more of those transports.
Unit ready. Building. On hold.
Yes,
Cancel.
sir. Affirmative.
I'm finally going broke. Because I can sell this one,
Structure
and then just
sold.
move a new one over, like, in front of my freaking Tesla coil.
Unable to
Waiting
comply.
order.
Building in progress.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Construction complete.
Awaiting affirmative. 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 Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
I mean, yeah, I can't even move,
Reporting.
like, 5 inches without, you know,
Acknowledged.
somebody attacking my base. So it's not like I can actually get out and do something.
Acknowledged.
I have to sit here and defend shit.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
There, I managed to fend those flippers
Affirmative.
off.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Didn't they just attack me?
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
So sure. Oh, they're just hitting my freaking harvesters.
Affirmative.
I can't do nothing about that because I have no anti-air besides, you know, these two mammoth tanks. But they're not going to be able to do anything.
Affirmative. Ready and waiting. Reporting affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. Very well. Yes, sir.
Our base
Yes, sir.
is under attack.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Building.
Affirmative. Report. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Reporting. Comrade. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Comrade. Acknowledge. Reporting. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting. Affirmative.
crap. Hold on. Alright, we're back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Comrade.
Building.
So I can get a flame tower just to, like, at least get them off my
Yes,
case.
sir.
Construction complete. Unit prepared.
Waiting order. Affirmative.
Okay, brother, that's not even helping.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Alright, never mind, that did the trick.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
We get repaired.
Comrade. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Well, look who it is.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Very well.
Base one.
Oh my god.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Acknowledge.
Alright, I'm gonna load the game I just saved. That. It's really pissed me off, guys. It
Mission
really is.
loaded. Building.
Alright, so let's
Yep,
get you guys
affirmative.
fall back. I mean, I think I've done the damage that needs to be done to Gray anyways.
Affirmative.
Repairing. Construction complete.
Yes, sir.
Unit prepared.
Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Building. Structure
Acknowledged.
sold.
Yes, sir.
God, like, which one of my harvesters, isn't halfway dead?
Building. On hold. Cancel.
Reporting.
Unit ready.
Stupid.
Repairing.
It's like the last mission was easy as crap, and this one's just been the biggest pain in the ass.
Unit prepared.
I was gonna say,
Construction complete. Our base is under attack.
I was gonna say, okay, if I have to make another one of those fucking SAM sites, I'm gonna be pissed.
Acknowledge. Affirmative.
No,
Acknowledge.
get repaired.
Comrade.
Would you
Acknowledge.
just get out of the way, man? Holy shit.
Repairing.
Comrade. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
I have to go all the way over there just to fucking do it.
Yes, sir.
Unit prepared.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Report. Acknowledge. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledge.
Building. Repairing.
I can say it would be very nice if I could actually make mammoth things,
Unit
but
prepared.
the game's not gonna let me, so fine.
Repairing. Unit prepared.
Yes, sir.
Repairing. Unit ready. Building. Unit prepared.
Make sure everything's up to
Repairing.
full health.
Unit ready. Unit prepared. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
These are attacks have all but died out.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Unit ready.
Awaiting orders. Acknowledge. Reporting. Acknowledge.
See, there's a way to get up to
Affirmative.
their base through here.
Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Reporting. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Control 1.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
should remove gray.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Oh,
Acknowledge.
that's not stupid.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Our base is under attack.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
At once. Yes, sir.
Lost.
Affirmative. Of course. Affirmative.
Alright, Blue, you're next.
Very well. Affirmative.
Oh, don't tell me that's what I
Very well.
think it is. Oh, come on.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Well, I found Blue's
Affirmative.
base. That's all it. That's what I set out to do.
Acknowledge.
So,
Building.
alright, then I'll start working on an Air Force stand. Actually, wait, no, I can only make yaks. Yaks are not all that grand. So let's go sub style.
Construction complete. Construction options.
There's the
Training.
bright side to any of this is that gray has just pretty much been eliminated.
Construction complete. Building. Primary building selected. Unit ready. Building.
Waiting. Affirmative. Affirmative.
May as well just keep moving in case they like decide to get stuck somewhere.
Unit ready.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Building.
Like
Unit
almost
ready.
transfers are just kind of
Building.
chilling there.
On hold. Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Take them out.
Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge.
Unit ready.
Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Then,
Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Building. Our base is under attack. Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Waiting orders. Acknowledge.
Building.
how many subs that bring us to? About
Affirmative.
7, 8.
Unit ready.
We go with
Building.
about 10.
Affirmative.
One more after this.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Reporting. Acknowledge.
Alright, let's
Acknowledge.
go destroy some boats and whatnot.
Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative.
And you shall be
Yes, sir.
control group
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
2. So let's get all you guys
Vehicle
repaired.
reporting. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Reporting.
Preparing.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
So cranking out
Building.
more tanks.
Unit repaired. Repairing.
Waiting order. Acknowledged.
Repairing.
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
Unit prepared.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Unit prepared.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Repairing. Repairing.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
repaired.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit lost. Repairing.
Affirmative.
Unit repaired.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
repaired.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Naval unit.
Wow.
Acknowledged.
Naval unit.
I hate subs.
Building.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Hitting
Acknowledged.
each other.
Affirmative.
Shit.
Yep. Acknowledged.
Naval unit.
Acknowledged.
Unit
Acknowledged.
Our base is under attack.
Report. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Is there any way for them to get over?
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yeah, just
Affirmative.
barely.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged.
Then I gotta replace, like, what, a whopping
Affirmative.
7 subs?
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Take them
Acknowledged.
out.
Unit ready.
Vehicle. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Yes, affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Building.
Awaiting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Alright, hold
Acknowledged.
on. Can I
Acknowledged.
at least get through there? No, I can't.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Oh, that's just fucking great.
Affirmative.
Okay, so how do I deal with these ships up here? Do I just use, like, air units or what? 'Cause I know I can't make other MCVs.
Building.
God forbid the game lets you do that.
Waiting on affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
I guess I just have to toughen it out and
Acknowledged.
fight them despite the
Affirmative.
support firepower from their Duma flitches. Or, alternatively, I could use airplanes, although that's going to take a while
Unit
to bring
ready.
it down.
Building.
Decisions,
Affirmative.
decisions.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Construction.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Reporting. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Yes, sir. Vehicle acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Yeah, I'm gonna trust
Reporting.
this bridge, so we'll send in a dummy.
Acknowledged. Ready affirmative. At once.
Alright, so I
Ready
need to keep
affirmative.
mines.
Agreed.
So give him credit, that's pretty clever.
Reporting lost. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Alright, let me save here.
Mission saved.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Our base is under attack.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
that convoy.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Crap.
Yes, acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged.
Wow, shit.
Reconstruction options. Training. Unable to comply. Building in progress. Unit lost.
Yes, sir, agreed.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Oh yes, it's getting away.
Unit lost.
Mission failed. In 3, 2, 1. Yep. Right then, so I need to go about that a little bit differently.
Mission loaded.
Affirmative.
Get down here.
Acknowledged. Awaiting or
Go ahead and
acknowledged.
set off that other mine that I know was up there.
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting.
Okay, don't
Cancel.
need that.
Building.
Waiting for knowledge. Affirmative.
Instead, we need guys to kind of chill out up here.
Our base is under attack. Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Training. On hold.
Get another war factory while we're at it. Make this
Acknowledge.
process go a lot
Affirmative.
quicker.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Sell these, I don't need them.
Structure sold. Building.
Sell that.
Yes,
Structure
affirmative.
sold.
These guys.
Affirmative.
Sell these two.
Structure
Reporting.
sold.
At once.
Unit ready. Building. Unable to comply. Building in progress. Construction complete. On hold. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready.
Alright, that should do it.
sir. Acknowledged.
Alright, so that'll be the force that'll
Acknowledged.
capture it if it decides to,
Acknowledged.
slip out of my grasp.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. 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 Awaiting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Okay, let's
Waiting
take all
order.
this
Acknowledged.
crap
Affirmative.
out.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. 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 Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
And we'll take this out.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Our base
Affirmative.
is under attack.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Go, 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 go,
Affirmative.
go.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
Alright,
Yes, affirmative.
kill the truck.
Affirmative.
Mission
Haha! Gotcha that time, suckers. 150% on the economy, 52% leadership. Yeah, I killed quite a few allies, I know that's for sure. Lost 11 buildings, which was a combination between Tesla coils and SAM sites. So yes, enter. And into southern France we go. So, see you all soon for the next one.